She thought she was eating healthy until her fingertips went numb. Hi, I'm Dr. John Smith. Let me tell you a story that might sound a little too familiar. 76-year-old woman walks into my clinic. Sharp mind, healthy habits, never smoked, never drank. She says I just eat one boiled egg every morning, just the white. The yolk has too much cholesterol, right? Seemed harmless until she started losing feeling in her fingers and couldn't shake off this deep, lingering fatigue. What we found next shocked her. And honestly, it might just surprise you too. Because sometimes the healthiest thing we think we're doing is the very thing quietly draining our energy, harming our nerves, and stealing our sleep. If you've ever skipped the yolk or thought eggs were safe no matter how or when you eat them, this is the one story you can't afford to miss. Part 1. A story from my clinic. One of my earliest patients here at this small clinic was a lovely woman named Eleanor. She's 76 from Sacramento, smart, careful, and very health conscious. Every morning she'd start her day with a boiled egg, but only the egg white. She threw out the yolk because she heard it was full of cholesterol. My grandson told me that, and I read it online too, she said with a gentle smile on her first visit, but it wasn't her egg habit that caught my attention. It was something else. Tingling in her fingertips, and a kind of deep fatigue that had been following her for over 6 months. We ran some basic labs, nothing alarming. But something stood out: a mild deficiency in vitamin B7, also known as biotin. And I knew right away eating only egg whites, especially on an empty stomach, could be a hidden culprit. You see, egg whites contain a protein called avidin, and this protein binds to biotin and blocks it from being absorbed by the body like a locked door. Now here's the thing. Biotin isn't just a beauty vitamin. Like you hear in commercials, it plays a major role in nerve health, cellular energy, and mental clarity, especially important as we age. So I gently explained to Eleanor, your grandson isn't wrong, but that thinking is a bit outdated, like from the 1980s. Today's science tells us the yolk is actually full of important nutrients like lecithin omega-3s, lutein, and choline, all of which support the brain, the eyes, and the heart. She was surprised. Not because she was stubborn, but simply because no one had ever explained it that way. And honestly, a lot of us are like that. We're trying to do the right thing, but we don't always see the full picture. I often tell my patients, eating eggs the right way is like watering a plant. Do it at the right time with the right amount, and the plant thrives. Do it at the wrong time, even good water can drown the roots. So what's the problem with just egg whites? If you eat only egg whites, especially on an empty stomach, you're not just blocking biotin. You're also putting stress on your digestive system. When your stomach is empty, it produces more acid. And that acid combined with avidin makes it even harder for your body to absorb biotin. So I told Eleanor, try eating the whole egg and do it after having something like whole grain toast or leafy greens. That simple shift might change everything, and it did. 2 months later, she came back and said, I wake up without that deep fatigue now. And the tingling in my fingers, it's gone, my friend. I'm not sharing this just to give you a vitamin lesson. I'm telling you this as someone who's lived through the autumn seasons of life when health becomes a little more fragile and a lot more precious at this age. None of us want to start over, but maybe, just maybe, the way we nourish ourselves is the one thing truly worth changing. And yes, something as humble as an egg might be the best place to start. So let me ask, have you ever eaten just the egg whites? Have you been feeling tired for reasons you can't quite explain? If so, maybe it's time to take a closer look. Not to blame yourself, but to begin again a little wiser. This time, I'm Dr. John Smith, and I truly believe taking care of your health after 60 isn't just about fixing problems. It's about learning to live in harmony with your body. One meal at a time, one habit at a time. Part 2. Why eating eggs in the morning could be harming your heart. Let me ask you this. What time do you usually eat your eggs? Is it around 6 or 7 a.m.? Right after waking up with a cup of coffee and maybe a slice or two of toast? That's such a common habit. Honestly, I used to think it was perfectly harmless, maybe even healthy. Until I met Mr. Ronald Ronalds, a 78-year-old retired PE teacher from Fresno, California, strong guy, climbed mountains well into his 60s, proud of his military-style diet and daily routine. He didn't come into my clinic because he was in pain. He came in because his words, "My chest just feels a little heavy in the mornings." Nothing dramatic, but just a few minutes into our conversation, I had a gut feeling. Something wasn't right. I asked him, "What do you usually have for breakfast?" He said 2 sunny-side-up eggs at 6 a.m. sharp. Not earlier, not later. I've eaten the same breakfast for the past 30 years, Doc. A week later, Ronald was hospitalized with a mild heart attack. Thankfully, he recovered well. But what surprised him the most was what I told him afterward. I said, "Ronald, the problem isn't the egg. It's when you eat it. You see, between 6 and 8 a.m., our bodies naturally produce a hormone called cortisol. It's known as the stress hormone, but it also helps wake us up and get us moving. What most people don't know is cortisol also triggers the liver to produce more cholesterol. So if you eat eggs, which are already high in cholesterol, right, when your cortisol is at its peak, that combo can double the amount of cholesterol floating in your bloodstream compared to eating the same meal later in the day. And this isn't just a theory. Endocrinology studies have backed it up. But here's the kicker: once you're over 50, your body just doesn't process cholesterol like it used to. Your liver slows down, your blood vessels get thinner, and even tiny buildups can quietly pile up day after day. Picture this. You wake up after a night of fasting. Your stomach's empty, your digestive system is still sleepy. Then boom, you hit it with a high-fat, high-protein meal. Right when cortisol is spiking. Does that sound like your body's ready for it? Of course not. It's like asking someone to run a marathon the second they roll out of bed. What happens instead? You feel bloated, sluggish. Your coffee doesn't wake you up like it used to. And most importantly, your heart is silently taking on stress it doesn't need. One thing I always remind my patients is, good health isn't just about what you eat, it's about when you eat it. Now if you're wondering, so Doc, when is the best time to eat eggs? My answer, between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Why? Because by then, your cortisol levels are low. Your digestive system is fully awake. Your liver is better prepared to handle fats, and you've already made it through the morning stress, so your body's in a better place to absorb nutrients without overloading your heart. Even better, if you pair your eggs with greens like spinach, onions, or broccoli, the fiber can help block excess cholesterol from being absorbed and flush it out of your system. Want proof? I had another patient, Walter, age 72, who switched his egg routine from morning to afternoon. 3 months later, his cholesterol dropped by 18%, no new meds. Just a simple shift. He told me I didn't believe something so small could make such a big difference. But now, I do, Doc, my friend. I'm not telling you this to scare you off eggs. Not at all. In fact, I believe eggs are one of nature's best gifts if you treat them right. So if you still want eggs tomorrow morning, that's okay. But maybe eat them just a little later, or have some veggies or whole grains first. Or better yet, save the egg for lunch. It's a small change, but who knows, it could be the very thing that saves you from an unnecessary heart scare. Part 3. High-heat fried eggs, the cozy trap in your kitchen. My friend, do you remember your mom's old cast iron skillet? The one where she'd drizzle just a bit of oil, the pan would sizzle, and the smell of eggs would fill the kitchen. I can still picture that scene in my mom's small house back in Ohio. Every morning, she'd make me a soft fried egg with a couple of slices of toast. That smell, it was comforting, full of memories. It felt like home. And I get it, for many of us, a fried egg in the morning isn't just food, it's a ritual, it's warmth, it's a taste of life and family. But when I became a doctor, especially after working with thousands of older adults, I started noticing something strange. Many of my senior patients were experiencing bloating, acid reflux, stomach pain, and even memory issues. And one thing they all had in common, they were eating fried eggs every single day. Now I know that probably sounds a little crazy, right? What could possibly be wrong with a simple fried egg? Let me tell you about Mrs. Jane. She's 84, lives alone, in a quiet suburb in Nevada. She came to see me after 2 years of ongoing stomach discomfort, indigestion, and unexplained weight loss. At first, she thought it was just old age, but when I gently asked about her diet, she gave me a sheepish smile and said, "Doctor, I know you're probably going to tell me to quit it, but I just can't give up my morning fried egg." Been making it the same way for decades. She wasn't wrong. The egg itself isn't the problem. The real issue: how the egg is fried. High heat, smoking oil. Burnt egg whites, bubbling yolks. That's where the trouble starts. Let me put it this way. Protein in eggs is like soft yarn. When you cook it gently, it stays tender, easy to digest, but blast it with high heat, and that yarn curls up tight, clumps together, making your body work much harder just to break it down. And for older adults, whose stomach acid and digestive enzymes have naturally declined with age, that kind of high-heat protein becomes a real challenge to absorb. But it doesn't stop there. When oil gets too hot past the smoke point around 375 5D-TOSAF, 190 D-C, it creates harmful compounds like acrylamide and aldehydes. You can't see them, you can't smell them, but they quietly inflame your gut lining, damage cells, and, over time, may contribute to memory loss and even neurological decline. A 2021 Harvard study found that people over 65 who regularly ate high-heat fried foods experienced cognitive decline 18% faster than those who preferred steamed or boiled foods. I still remember Mr. George, 82, a retired accountant sharp as a tack back in the day, but when he came to my clinic, he was forgetting appointments, mixing up medications, even forgetting what he'd had for breakfast. And yes, every morning he'd fry his eggs and smoke in hot oil alongside sausage and toast. I told him this: if you still love your eggs, keep them, just change how you cook them. Because your memory, that's your most valuable asset right now. So what's the solution? I always tell my patients, treat your egg the way you'd treat your heart, gently and with care. Instead of frying, try this: boiled eggs. Place them in cold water. Bring to a gentle boil for about 10 minutes. Steamed eggs, like the soft, silky Asian-style steamed egg custard, easy to swallow and gentle on the stomach. Poached eggs, dropped into barely simmering water, no oil, no harsh heat. And if you still want to fry them, use low heat, a high-quality oil like extra virgin olive oil, and make sure the oil never smokes. Add a touch of turmeric, black pepper, or even a sprinkle of thyme for added flavor and digestive support. You see, staying healthy at this stage of life doesn't mean giving up the things you love. It just means learning to love them differently. Better cooking, better timing, better choices. That's how we protect our health, one gentle egg at a time. Part 4. Eating eggs while taking medication, a hidden trap in your healthy habits. Let me ask you something and be honest with yourself. When do you usually take your medications? And do you eat eggs around that same time? Many of my patients probably just like you. Start their mornings with a fried egg, a cup of coffee, and their daily pills. Heart meds, cholesterol meds, blood pressure pills, maybe even vitamins or iron supplements. They do it with the best intentions as part of a healthy morning routine. But the truth is, that simple combination might actually be weakening the effect of the medication, or worse, silently harming your body. Let me tell you about a case that stuck with me for years. Mr. Harold, 85 years old, a retired journalist from Chicago, sharp as a tack, still reads the newspaper every morning, exercises regularly, and takes all his medications exactly as prescribed. But one morning, he was rushed to the ER with a mild brain bleed, a medical emergency no one expected from someone so disciplined. Blood tests showed his blood thinner levels were dangerously high, well above the safe range. And yet he hadn't changed his medication at all. So what happened? Well, here's the thing. Blood thinners like warfarin, commonly prescribed to people with heart issues or stroke history, are highly sensitive to vitamin K, and eggs especially. The yolk contain just enough vitamin K to interfere with how warfarin works. And get this, it doesn't take a lot of eggs to be a problem. Even just eating eggs at the same time, you take the medication, can throw things off, making the drug too weak, risking blood clots, or too strong, risking internal bleeding. also treated a woman named Dorothy, 76 years old, who was severely anemic. She took her iron supplements every single morning. But strangely, her iron levels wouldn't go up. And she was constantly exhausted. It wasn't until I asked more questions that she said, "Oh, I always take my iron right after breakfast. I usually have a boiled egg." And that's when it clicked. Did you know egg whites contain a protein that binds to iron, making it nearly impossible for your intestines to absorb it? It's like dropping a vitamin into a locked safe. Nothing gets through nothing, makes it into your bloodstream, and it doesn't stop there. Some antibiotics, especially tetracycline and quinolone, can lose up to 50% of their effectiveness when taken with eggs or foods rich in calcium, magnesium, or iron. And thyroid meds like levothyroxine. They must be taken on an empty stomach at least 30 minutes before breakfast, or they basically don't get absorbed at all. Still, I've lost count of how many people have told me, "I've been taking my meds right after breakfast with eggs for years." My friend, I'm not saying eggs are bad, and I'm definitely not telling you to stop your meds. All I want is for you to understand this. Your health isn't just about the pills you take. It's about how you take them, how you time them, how they fit into your daily routine. So what should you do? Here's what I tell my patients. If you're taking important medications like warfarin, blood pressure meds, thyroid pills, or iron, eat eggs, at least 2 hours apart, ideally 4 hours. Take your meds early in the morning on an empty stomach, then eat breakfast 30 to 60 minutes later. Enjoy your eggs at lunch or early afternoon. Once your meds have done their job and your body is ready to absorb nutrients properly, if you're taking supplements like calcium, zinc, or iron, try to space them out from eggs and dairy. Think of it like this. You have a door. Behind that door is a treasure chest of health. Your medication is the key. But if you jam in too many things, eggs, vitamins, fat, all at once, that key might break. Or the door might not open the way it should at our age. Good health isn't about doing more, it's about doing things at the right time in the right way. And something as simple as moving your eggs to lunchtime. That small shift might just protect your heart, your blood, and your memory for years to come. Part 5. The time you eat eggs can completely change how your body reacts. I've been in medicine for over 3 decades. And if there's one simple but powerful lesson I've learned, it's this. Not every healthy food is good for you in every situation. Take eggs, for example. They're small, humble, and packed with nutrients. A great source of protein, brain-boosting choline, and heart-friendly compounds. But eaten at the wrong time of day, that same egg could leave you feeling bloated, spiking your cholesterol, thus messing with your sleep or just making your digestion sluggish. We often focus so much on what we eat, but very few of us think about when we eat, and for older adults. Timing can be everything when it comes to how well your body absorbs and handles food. I remember one patient, Martha, 68 years old. She came into my office looking tired and frustrated. Trouble sleeping, frequent heartburn after breakfast. She said, "Doctor, I eat clean, no greasy foods, no bacon, just eggs every morning. Why do I still feel so heavy and uncomfortable?" So I asked her, "What time do you usually eat?" She replied, 6 a.m. right after I wake up, and I told her, "The problem isn't the egg. It's when you're eating it. Here's what most people don't realize. Between 6 and 8 a.m., your body naturally produces high levels of cortisol, the stress hormone that helps wake you up and get your day started. But cortisol also signals your liver to produce more cholesterol. Now imagine this. You eat a cholesterol-rich food like an egg right at that time. What happens? Your liver ramps up even more. Cholesterol production, silent, slow buildup in your bloodstream. It might not show up right away, but over time, it adds up. I've seen this pattern again and again in blood work, especially in health-conscious older adults who are doing all the right things, but not considering their body's internal clock. Think of it like this. In the morning, your body is like a car engine that just started. Everything's still warming up. Your digestion, your metabolism, your gut enzymes. If you throw a high-protein, high-fat food into that sleepy system, it struggles. That's when you get heartburn, indigestion, gas. and sometimes restless nights because that energy just didn't get properly processed. So what is the best time to eat eggs after age 60? Based on nutritional studies and 30-plus years working with older patients, here's the advice I always give: eat your eggs in the afternoon between 2 and 4 p.m. Why? By then, cortisol levels have dropped. The liver isn't in cholesterol overdrive anymore. Your stomach is fully awake and active after lunch. With plenty of digestive enzymes ready to go, protein gets absorbed more efficiently, which helps maintain muscle mass, something absolutely essential as we age. And most importantly, you'll sleep better at night. Your body won't be staying up late trying to digest a heavy breakfast. Want to make your afternoon egg even healthier? Pair it with fiber-rich veggies like steamed broccoli, spinach, onions, lightly grilled or baked tomatoes. Fiber doesn't just help with digestion, it slows down cholesterol absorption, supports your heart, and helps manage blood sugar levels. All critical after 60. Let me tell you about another patient of mine. Mr. Lewis, 71 years old, he used to eat fried eggs and sausage every single morning. I suggested he move his egg meal to the afternoon around 3 p.m. with a salad and some whole grain toast. 6 weeks later, he came back and said, "I don't feel sleepy in the mornings anymore. I'm sleeping better at night, and my cholesterol numbers are finally improving without needing to increase my meds." Now look, I'm not telling you to be afraid of eggs. That's not the point. What I am saying is this: health isn't about cutting out the foods you love. It's about learning when, how, and why to eat them based on the body you have today. Because when you do that, you're not just getting healthier, you're becoming more aware, more in tune, more awake to your own body's rhythm. Turning 60 isn't the beginning of the end. It's the beginning of something wiser, learning how to live, how to eat, and how to rest this time with a kind of awareness and calm that youth never gave us. Part 6. How you cook your eggs matters. Be gentle with the egg and with yourself. You know, I get it. Change isn't always easy. We all have our habits, right? Maybe it's how you make your morning coffee, how you fold your towels, or how you fry that sunny side-up egg every morning. Just the way you've done for decades. I completely understand. I was the same way. For me, the smell of a fried egg, crispy on the edges, seasoned with salt and pepper, wasn't just breakfast. It was a warm memory, something that made each morning feel familiar. But after spending years working with thousands of patients over 60, I started noticing patterns, things like bloating, poor liver numbers, chronic sleep issues, and mystery digestive problems. And then one day, it hit me: the way we cook an egg can actually affect how long and how well we live. Have you ever noticed what happens when you fry an egg on high heat? The whites turn golden brown, the edges crisp up, and sometimes the yolk starts bubbling. There's even a bit of smoke rising from the pan. Smells great, right? But that's smoke. That's a sign the egg's protein is breaking down, and the oil is turning into harmful compounds. According to research from the National Institute of Nutrition in the U.S., overheating cooking oil can produce acrolein and aldehydes, two toxins linked to liver damage, gut inflammation, and weakened stomach lining. And let's face it, after 60, our bodies aren't what they used to be. Our digestion slows, the liver filters less efficiently, the immune system isn't quite as sharp. The little mistakes we used to bounce back from in our 30s, now they linger. Even a small irritation in your digestive tract can open the door to bigger issues. Let me tell you about one of my patients, Jane, 84 years old. She'd eaten fried eggs every morning for over 20 years. Then she started losing her appetite, feeling a dull ache in her stomach, and burping more often. At first, she chalked it up to aging. But after switching to soft-boiled and gently steamed eggs within just 2 weeks, she came back to me and said, "I didn't expect such a small change to make me feel this light again." Think of your body like an aging garden. You can't blast it with a strong hose anymore. You have to water it gently, warmly, slowly. And the way you cook your eggs should reflect that same care. So what's the healthiest way to cook eggs after 60? Soft-boiled eggs. Start with cold water. Bring it to a gentle boil and simmer for about 10 minutes. As the water heats up, lower the temperature to avoid overcooking the proteins. This method helps preserve choline, vitamins B and D, and lutein, great for your brain and vision. Steamed eggs, a method loved across Asia, smooth custard-like texture, easy on the stomach. Ideal if you have digestive issues or acid reflux. For extra flavor, add a bit of bone broth or plant-based milk. Poached eggs. Drop the egg into hot water about 175, 195 degrees, 80, 90 degrees. No oil, no high heat, no harmful smoke. Keeps the yolk soft and rich in nutrients while the whites stay tender. My tip: sprinkle in some turmeric or black pepper while cooking. Not only will it add flavor, but turmeric's curcumin and pepper's piperine help fight inflammation, aid digestion, and boost memory. And don't forget the side veggies. Pair your eggs with soft fiber-rich vegetables like steamed broccoli, spinach, roasted pumpkin, lightly sautéed tomatoes. Fiber doesn't just help digestion. It also reduces cholesterol absorption from the egg, supporting heart health. Listen, my friend, I'm not asking you to give up your favorite breakfast. I just want you to learn how to love it in a way that loves you back. A soft-boiled egg may not sizzle like the fried one you're used to, but it's easier on your liver, gentler on your stomach, and kinder to your long-term health. At our age, the way we cook is the way we care for our bodies. Cook with wisdom, eat with gratitude. Part 7. Why eggs don't belong on your dinner plate. Give your body a break, not overtime. Hi there, I'm Dr. John Smith. For years, I've had a little ritual before bed. I take a short walk around my backyard. Just me, the breeze, the rustle of leaves. I take a deep breath, touch the plants, and ask myself, did I truly let my body rest today? It's a simple question, but one I learned to ask after working with thousands of older adults. Folks who looked fine on the outside, still active, still cheerful, but who struggled to sleep through the night. And when I'd ask, what did you have for dinner? The most common answer: just something light. A boiled egg and some toast. Sounds harmless, right? Even healthy. But here's the thing, that little egg at night might be exactly what's keeping your body from fully resting. Let me explain. Think of your body like a factory. Daytime is for production, digesting, processing, converting nutrients. Nighttime, that's when the repair crew comes in. Restoring cells, cleaning the brain, balancing hormones. Now imagine this. Right before closing time, you hand your crew a job that takes hours, like digesting a high-protein food such as an egg. What happens? You just gave your stomach and liver a night shift. Instead of resting, your body now has to break down protein, metabolize fats, and process cholesterol, when it should be focused on recovery. I remember a patient, Mr. Carl, 74 years old, who came to see me for chronic insomnia. He said, "Doc, I go to bed early, no coffee, no screens, but every night I toss and turn, sweat through the sheets, heart racing." We ruled out the usual suspects until I asked, "What time's dinner?" 7 p.m. Usually a steamed egg and a little salad. That's when I told him, "Carl, it might be your healthy dinner that's keeping you up." Here's why protein, especially from eggs, takes longer to digest than carbs or veggies. It also slightly raises your body temperature, which can block deep sleep. And during digestion, it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, which can make you feel restless, jittery, even speed up your heartbeat. Now don't get me wrong, eggs aren't the enemy. They're packed with nutrients. But the timing makes all the difference. Nighttime is not for fueling up. It's for winding down so your body can do what it's meant to do, recover. So what should you eat instead? Here's what I often recommend to my patients. A light bowl of pumpkin soup. Easy to digest, full of tryptophan to help you sleep. Soft cooked oats with a splash of warm milk and a touch of honey. A slice of whole grain toast with almond butter. Keeps blood sugar steady. A ripe banana with a few walnuts, rich in natural magnesium and melatonin. Chamomile tea or roasted barley tea. Both calm the nervous system. I once shared this meal plan with a lovely woman named Ellen. 79 years old, had been on sleeping pills for years. After switching to these lighter evening foods and cutting out her nightly egg, she came back and told me, "Doctor, I slept straight through the night, and for the first time in years, I had a dream. A beautiful one." Sometimes the secret isn't in a new pill or a new mattress or a meditation playlist. Sometimes it's as simple as changing what's on your plate. Because real healing doesn't start with a sleeping pill. It starts with how gently and how lovingly you treat your body, especially at the end of the day. So if you've been eating eggs at night, thinking they're light and healthy, I hope after today, you'll try something else. Something that truly lets your body rest, so you can wake up feeling refreshed, clear-headed, and full of energy. My friend, sometimes the thing keeping you up all night isn't anxiety. It's just one little egg at the wrong time. After 60, your body gets wiser. It doesn't need more, it just needs you to listen. If something in today's message gave you a new insight, or just made you pause for a moment, I believe you're already moving in the right direction. And if you'd like more down-to-earth, heart-to-heart tips like this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, tap like, and share this video with someone you care about, because who knows, your small act of sharing might be the health gift someone else was waiting for. I'm Dr. John Smith, and I'll see you in the next video where the smallest changes keep transforming the biggest years of our lives.